welcome to the 11th episode of One Season Wonders, Firefly Edition. That's what it's called. I'm Jay. I'm joined, of course, by Steve. Steve, how the hell are you?
Steve is feeling like trash. Not really, but I think it would be a good.
That's the name
transition.
of the episode.
It is the name of the episode, though. We're not going to use that to transition. Pretty bang average week for Steve. In that he was about a tenth as productive as he wanted to be. I did my taxes this week. That's pretty much it. Got the return already too, which is pretty good. But what is new in the J-verse?
Not much. Wrestling season has wrapped up. So, do you know the parable of the man whose house was too crowded? I don't know the official name of the story.
No.
Okay. It's an old Jewish folktale, and I'm going to tell it to you. And anyone who doesn't know in the audience will get to hear it too. So, there once was a man who felt very cramped in his home. He had a large family. He had his wife. He had several children. His parents lived with him. His in-laws lived with him. And he felt like he never had time to himself or room to breathe in his house. So he went to the rabbi, as you do, to get a solution to your problems.
True.
And he was like, "Rabbi, here's the situation. I feel so crowded. What can I do to resolve this? Because obviously I love my family. I'm not trying to take it out on them. It's not their fault. This is just the space we have to live. What can I do?" And the rabbi was like, "I know what you can do, which is you have to bring your cow inside to live with you." And he was like, I don't know. I trust you, Rabbi. That kind of sounds crazy, but I'm going to do it. So he brought the cow inside. And the rabbi was like, "Come back in a week and tell me how it's going." Guy came back and was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so much worse. Now we've got everyone and the cow. It's like kicking stuff over. We got to take care of it, but it's in the house. It's terrible." And he was like, "Okay, just as I thought. Bring your goat inside to live with you as well." So the man brings his goat inside. And this goes on a couple more repetitions, but suffice it to say, The man eventually comes and he says, "Rabbi, I'm not bringing any more stuff in the house. I'm tired of this. There has to be something else I can do." And the rabbi goes, "Okay, take all the animals out of your house and come back to me in a week." So the guy comes back after a week and is like, "Oh my gosh, Rabbi, this is amazing. I have so much space. I have so much room." But, of course, he's in the situation he was in at the beginning of the story. It's just that, so that's how I feel, which is for a lot of the beginning of the year before the wrestling season had started, I felt like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is so much work. I'm working, 10-hour days. This is every day and working on the weekends. I hate this. And then the wrestling season started, and all of a sudden I was working 12-hour days every day. And now the wrestling season's over, so I feel like I'm on vacation. It's great. Yeah. I haven't had to stay after school for practice one time this whole week.
Nice.
I went to school on Saturday to work out, but it was just of my own volition. I didn't have to supervise any children when I did it, so that was really great.
Nice.
I don't want to. That's all that's new. I wanted to also just share that parable because that's something that I think is a really powerful story that I think about a lot.
If you ever feel bad, just make your life worse, and then try to
and
undo that.
Exactly.
Just my day sucked. I just put a rock in my shoe for the next week, and then I'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. It's like adjacent to if something hurt something else, so you won't think about it as much.
One pain lessens another. It's the necromonger way. Yeah.
Oh yes, and keep what you kill.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What movies are those from? Is that
that's from Chronicles of Riddick?
Okay, got it.
Which I just think it's hilarious that it's like I can reference a reference,
yeah.
But on this episode, we are going over. Was this the 11th episode of Firefly?
Yes.
This is trash. But it's
not trash. It's quite good.
It's not trash. It's actually pretty good. The episode is called Trash.
We're on a 3-episode, really good streak.
Yeah.
Episode 8 was good, but I would say Ariel, War Stories, and this have been a real level up. But I feel like we've been really killing it since. Yeah, episode 8 is when things really picked up. But these past 3 episodes have been on a whole other level. You want me to jump into it?
Absolutely. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So we start off with one of our classic Firefly cold opens. We've got Mal sitting naked in the desert on a rock. And he's like, "How did I get in this situation?"
Yeah.
And then we flash back to 72 hours earlier.
Okay.
Mal is working with another smuggler, Monty, that he's friends with.
God bless Monty.
Monty, I love Monty. Monty, I hope Monty shows up again. If Monty doesn't show up again, that's gonna have to be a season 2 item.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have the beard because they made a whole thing of that for a long time. He had a beard, and Mal was like, "Why'd you shave it?" And Monty was like, "Oh, because of my wife." And so he introduces his wife, and his wife is Saffron from the Our Mrs. Reynolds episode.
She's
and he's
back.
like, and he's calling her Bridget.
Yeah.
And he's like, of course, as soon as Mal and Saffron see each other, they pull guns on each other. And they have a little scrap, but Saffron accidentally reveals herself by calling him a liar. She's like, "You're a liar, Malcolm Reynolds." And Monty's like, "Whoa, I never said his name."
Yeah. He says his name like 5 times while they're fighting, but he just says Mal. He never says Reynolds. But it's actually like they're in a full fist fight. And instead of like intervening on behalf of his wife, he just watches her punch Mal and goes, "Bridget." And then Mal kicks her in the face, and he's like, "Mal." Like, it's like, you kids. Yeah.
I like that he, there's a lot of men that would blindly side with their wife in this scenario, but you got to hear out your boy. That's important. You got to hear both sides of the story. So Monty ditches Saffron as a result. She and Mal banter. She begs Mal for a ride and says she has the details for some like premiere job. And it seems like he leaves her because we cut back to him getting onto the ship without her.
Yeah.
Inara invites Mal into the shuttle and offers him some tea. They start arguing, and she offends him by calling him a petty thief.
Yeah.
And so this kickstarts our arc where Mal is looking to prove that he's not a petty thief. And so he goes and opens one of the crates from the rendezvous, and it turns out he has smuggled Saffron aboard in the crate. And so he wants to hear her plan so that they can pull a big job.
Yeah. We cut now to the kitchen, which is, I don't really have, like, this is just like a good amount of this episode is just set up. So we're still kind of setting up. I do like that Saffron doesn't always use stripper names. Sometimes she just goes with Bridget. Okay. Imagine there's another man who married a Mary Ann. You know, just like there's a lot of variance in these names. We'll get to it. We find a third name that I find is puzzling, but
I wonder if it has to do with like her fictional backstory. Like I don't know if we met a lot of the people from the planet that we initially was from, but maybe that's like a name that's common among that. Like maybe Saffron's like a typical name among that group of people, and that's who she was trying to pass herself off as. I don't know. That was the thought that jumped into my head.
Yeah, I imagine it seems like she's playing longer games now because it's it seems like her and Monty had been together for a minute.
Right.
But that makes sense because her old crew is all dead. So she's got to be a little bit more careful, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to the kitchen now where Mal and Saffron are presenting the plan, which is to rob a war criminal, essentially, of his pillaged goods. Most notably, the first ever laser pistol that's worth X amount of megabucks or whatever. Probably the funniest bit here is Wash just being like, I think his line is, "We're in space. How did she get on the ship?" like what happened here?
Well, I really like when she says, Wash goes to ask a question, and she cuts him off and says, "I know what you're wondering. If I have the security codes, why don't I go in and grab it myself?" But then Wash asks that instead. Yeah. And then like a second later, Jane is like, "I have a question. If you have the security codes, why don't you just go in and grab it yourself?" And then he looks like really, he looks around and be like, "Huh? See? Yeah. I'm with it. I'm smart."
Yeah.
There's a very short side plot that I'm just going to mention here, speaking of Jane, where River reveals to Simon that Jane sold them out. Yeah. And so then there's a moment at the end of the episode where Jane is getting patched up for an injury, and Simon's like, "I know, and I won't kill you, but like cut that shit out.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna agree to be chill because otherwise it'll suck for everybody involved. But like, be chill, and then he leaves. I think he like paralyzes him temporarily or something.
Yeah.
And then River pops her head around the corner and goes, "And also, I can kill you with my brain powers." Which you get a good reaction shot from Jane, where it's like he's got like a neck brace on, his eyes are like bulging out of his skull. It's good.
There's one moment where he thinks Simon's threatening him, and he's like, "Anyone there?" And River pops her head around, and he's like, "Anyone else?"
Yeah.
So that was just a quick.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the.
Oh, there's one more thing on this subject. Early when we're setting it up, River tells him that Jane is a girl's name, and like, Jane reaches into his pants to pull his dick out, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jane's character plays it pretty fast and loose with what is appropriate behavior in front of a 17-year-old girl. I think this is the first time he's done it since like the pilot, but like in the pilot, he says some kind of creepy shit too. It's like, ew, maybe we pivot away from that element of character, but at least here it's supposed to be stupid. Like,
it definitely is.
Yeah.
So they do the job. You know, they go over there, they do it. The big thing is that they are reprogramming. The reason why the episode is called Trash is because they reprogrammed this garbage drone, and so the idea is it's really easy to get in, but it's hard to get out. Actually, it's the opposite of Ariel, because with Ariel, the whole point was it was hard to get in, easy to get out. And so they, because they already have all these security codes, but they can't take the gun through any of the doors, or it's going to set off all these alarms. So their plan is they're going to throw it into the garbage chute.
It's got one of those tags from like Kohl's where like they have to hit it with a special thing to unlock it off of the t-shirt.
Magnet. Yeah. Or it's going to spray ink everywhere, and you don't want that. So their plan is they're going to throw it in a garbage chute, and there's like an automatic garbage retrieval system. So they're going to reprogram that to drop the dumpster into a place where they can access it. I think it's an interesting plan.
Maybe you could have used some bubble wrap before you throw it in the trash. Maybe, I
was thinking that same thing. Yeah. But they go and do the plan. And while Mal and Saffron are in the guy's office retrieving the gun, he pops in and is like, "Oh my gosh, Yolanda, my wife."
Yeah. Thank you for returning my wife to me. And it's like, oh, yeah, she's got husbands everywhere. Yeah. Like the original E-Girl, where she's just got like 1,000 guys in her DMs who are like, I'm like your favorite, right? Like,
they all want to be mods on her Twitch stream.
Yeah.
So they have like a whole reunion. I like, by the way, that our initial impression of Hamer is that he's this like total dupe. But then it turns out that he's like, "Oh yeah, as soon as I saw you, I called the cops." Because like,
yeah, like
obviously there's something going on here. Like I'm not like I was just doing that to like keep you here long enough so that the cops would get here.
Well, I think all of his emotions were genuine, but he was like, yes, if the cops show up and we're still having a lovely reunion, I can be like, oh, never mind,
right?
Like, yeah, we can have that argument afterwards. Like that's fine.
So it's clear that Saffron seduced this programmer that used to work for Hamer to get these codes to access
Heinrich.
Heinrich. Shout out Heinrich. What happened? So Hamer reveals that he has called the cops. Yolanda takes out Hamer, and then Mal and she flee they drop the loot and they flee. They manage to get away, and then when they're in the shuttle, she breaks down. She's like, I really did actually try to be with him. I thought that I would be happy with someone who had so much wealth, but I wasn't. Yeah. And she's like, do you think I can change? And Mal's like, no. And then she takes his gun from him. and makes him. Oh, there was one moment that I liked. Saffron kind of starts to cry, and she's like, "You must be loving this." And Mal starts to shake his head no, but then changes to nodding yes, and is like, "A little bit, yeah."
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
So it turns out that she sabotaged the ship,
Yeah.
so that they can't pick up the rendezvous, and she puts Mal in that, she undresses Mal and drops him in the desert. She goes to retrieve the loot, but Inara got there first, and it turns out that Inara was their backup plan to their backup plan when it came to making sure Saffron didn't double cross them.
Yeah, in an earlier scene, she like made a whole deal about not trusting Saffron and like, I'm fucking leaving. I'm gonna go do a companion job for like 4 days or something, and it's like, oh no, more strife between Mal and his not girlfriend. But then we get the reveal at the end where she's like, I see. Some of Inara's outfits are a little too appropriation-y for me. Like it looks a little bit like a Halloween costume sometimes. Based on
you didn't like this Lawrence of Arabia vibe that she had going on.
I was
here?
like, she's like, oh, we're in a desert, huh? Like, it's like, all right, relax.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird because on one hand, yes.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, like, we're trying to represent this society that has just become so culturally intertwined that, like, can you even appropriate in that context? But on the flip side, these are still real people, and you can appropriate in our context. So, like, which one is it? Like, which set of rules?
I think if it was, I think if it was like Elements, it would be fine. But like this one was like just like a Halloween costume where it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
This is just like Leave It. I Dream of Jeannie, but in black. It's like, all right, maybe we can calm down. But I really like. So basically, to wrap up the episode, Inara gets the gun. I like the fact that she lets Saffron dig to the bottom of the dumpster before revealing herself, which is fun.
Yeah.
She then like locks Saffron in the dumpster, and it's just like she has this like Saffron starts to freak out. She's like, "Oh, don't be a baby. The cops will be here in a couple hours to get you out." And like right before it cuts, you just hear, "I have a condition." Like,
I love how unafraid she is to like lie about everything. Like she's so like,
she just goes. Like there's no hesitance at all. But and then I also like there's this element of the episode where like because Inara reconvenes with Mal and she's like, and Mal's like, oh yeah, all according to plan, and she goes, wasn't I only supposed to happen if literally everything else went wrong? Like isn't this like the very last line of defense if she fooled every single one of you? He's like, no, this was all part of it. And I like that element of like, not only do we not really know how much of what Saffron was saying was legitimate, we also don't know how much of what Mal was like, how much Mal fell for any of it.
And there's also Inara says this thing to Saffron when she's in the dumpster. She's like, "We all played you," and that's a lie, which I like. I like that Inara is giving Saffron some of her own game of like, because now that she's in this position, who's to say that this wasn't the plan all along? But of course it wasn't, which I think is just like a fun touch.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, pretty fun episode. Not a lot to really like discuss. Just another caper.
We don't get a lot of returning characters on this show. I think the only times when it's happened has been the guy with the bowler hat, Nishka, Saffron, and the spooks, who I assume we're going to see more of. And I would say of those 4 returning characters, Saffron, had really remarkable character. Like she's very interesting. She's just so devious in like a very compelling way. It's like, she you love to hate her. She's a great heel.
Yeah, it's like it's probably like the most true depiction of like the femme fatale trope or archetype. I've been trying to use the word archetype when it's appropriate and not trope because it annoys me when people are just like, oh, the happy ending trope. And it's like, that's not a trope. That's just how stories work. Please stop doing
Right. Happy ending trope.
that.
This story has the happy ending trope.
Yeah.
Where they get the loot. So I'm curious, we mentioned last time they had a job that went well. They had to lose it
Yeah.
all in the next episode. We'll see what happens to the ancient blaster, or
Yeah.
their proceeds from the ancient blaster in the next episode.
Yeah. River just throws it away. She's like, that's what you do with these, right? I mean, that's what you guys, that was like the whole point of the last one, right? And they're just like, River. Like, puts their hands on their hips.
Or.
She looks at the camera. She goes,
Rex.
I'm kooky. All right.
And she is kooky.
Yeah. So it is once again time for Steve to recommend a Warhammer book. This time it is The Infinite and the Divine, which, despite sounding very, very like big scale in its title, it's actually the story of these two immortal robots who are just bickering over like an artifact for thousands of years. And it's really funny because they like, at one point, one of them like calls the cops on the other one, and they have to go to like civil court and be like, who has the right to pursue this artifact? And at the end of it, they're like, actually, you know what you were going to do? You guys are going to stay away from each other for 1,500 years, cool off. And another point, the guy's like, one of them is like using a little bit of time manipulation to keep trying to get like the result he wants from like the little trial. And the guy standing next to him is like, why do I have deja vu? What is going on? Like, and it happens like the way it's constructed in the book is that it'll keep going. It'll play out and then it'll go wrong. And then it'll just go back to a line from earlier. And like in the first time you're like, oh, is that what's going on? And then it happens like 4 times. You're like, oh, okay, I get what's going on.
That's funny.
But yeah, and so it's probably one of the ones that requires the least amount of background knowledge. So if there was a book that you might actually get some enjoyment out of, it would probably be this one.
Tell me the name one more time.
The Infinite and the Divine. Yeah,
the Infinite and the Divine.
Yeah. The only lore you really need any background on is it's called the War in Heaven, which is like the very first thing that happens in the Warhammer timeline. So it's not super intensive. It's a nice 15-minute lore video for you.
Here we go. All right, I'm gonna take a risk. Okay, I'm gonna recommend a book I haven't finished yet.
Ooh,
let me go grab
very
it
risky.
so I can get the name. I know. Here it is. Reign of the Empire, The Mask of Fear by Alexander Freed. I'm like a third of the way into this book. So I'm like, I know, but there are times I've honestly had 2 really remarkable fiction reading experiences recently, which is this and then the Hunger Games book that I was just telling you about, the Songbirds and Snakes, where it's like, because I read a lot of nonfiction, and I kind of read like nonfiction and I read comic books are kind of like my 2 areas that I delve into, and Star Wars books, and but some of the Star Wars books that I read are not like, I mean, I don't know. This book is different than the other Star Wars books I've read. It's a political thriller. It is here's an argument that I have with Isabel sometimes. Sorry, I'm getting off track. Let me summarize my thoughts.
Yeah. You're right. She's wrong.
That's usually the case. But something that Isabel likes to say is like, this is the jumping off point. So this is the actual beginning of the story. Yeah. She's like, reading fiction is stupid because it's not real, which I think is funny. She doesn't really mean that. She just likes to like be annoying. Yeah. And I love reading nonfiction. Some of my favorite books are nonfiction books. I really love Conspiracy of Fools. I really love Disney War. Like those are 2. And the reason why I love those books is because they are nonfiction books that are super intimate with their subject matter. Like they're full of interviews with people involved. Like they get granular with their subject matter in a way that's really, really hard to do. And so like those books are products of years of research and document collection and interviews. And like it's just not easy to create something like that in the nonfiction space. And the benefit of a fictional story is you can eliminate a lot of that process. You can create that same narrative experience without actually having to like track down a bunch of real people to talk to them. And like that is the benefit that fiction has. So like when I reading what is this book called? Reading Reign of the Empire has given me so far a similar reading experience to reading these like dense but thrilling nonfiction books that I love so much. I would say The Conspiracy of Fools is one of my favorite books ever. It's like this really intimate insider look at the downfall of Enron. And that is exactly how I feel reading this book, where you're watching the Republic. So this book takes place immediately after episode 3, like immediately.
Okay, so this is like a Star Wars book. All right, yeah.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Did I not say that? This is a Star Wars book. That's why I said it's different from the other Star Wars books I've read. This takes place immediately post episode 3. Like Bail Organa, like he's on his like first errand after bringing Leia back. Like,
okay, yeah.
That's how, and it follows Bail, Mon Mothma, and not Saw Gerrera, but someone who joins Saw's crew, which is actually more compelling. And he's a former separatist soldier who's joining Saw's crew. So that's like an interesting third perspective to get, where we can also be with Saw, but like not be in his, like just still get like a non-Republic perspective. And the most compelling parts of the book are the Mon Mothma parts. The Bail parts are great. The Bail parts are, he's just like, but what about the Jedi? Which is legit. And he's kind of like, so there's 3 plots going on. There's the guy with Saw's band, which that part's fine. I don't want to get into it because there's like a lot going on there. There's Bail, and he's trying to clear the Jedi's name. So he's like, because there's been like a detailed smear campaign going on to like paint the Jedi as these renegades. And so he's trying to figure out how to get that away. And Mon Mothma is trying to weaken the Emperor's hold on the Empire through legislation. And like, you know, not to get too real life political, but just some of this is definitely a book that was written recently. And this is one of the newest Star Wars books, and it is a product of our current political climate, and it's very compelling. And I strongly recommend that everyone read it.
Yeah. Based on your description, it sounds like you're getting kind of like the guy that's like, no, we can still get back to the old Republic, and Mon Mothma being like, we can figure out a way to not make this new empire suck. And then you got the like, fuck it,
blow it up.
It's all over, man. Fuck it. Like, which I think that's a cool like trichotomy of.
I have not been able to put it down except in the chapters where it's the guy with Saw Gerrera, which I like his chapters a lot, but they're just not quite on the same level as the rest of the book.
It's the least political of the political thriller book.
Yes, exactly. Outro.
Na 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 na.